Hello and welcome to another episode of Top Deck, the series where we take a look at some of the leading deck lists from the UK TCG metagame. Today we have Alfie Morton's 5th place Magician deck list from the regional over the last weekend. So what we'll do is we'll start off by taking a quick look at the list itself, then we'll get some comments from Alfie on his rounds and any changes that he made to the deck, and also some comments on how he thinks that the meta is going to be shaping up in the next few weeks to months. So for the deck, triple Harmonizing Magician, one Stargazer with triple Astrograph to go with it, double Black Fang, triple Wisdom Eye, triple Purple Poison, double Oath Dragon, triple Supreme King Dragon Darkworm, and the one Gate Zero to go with it, one Luster Pendulum, just the one, not the two, triple Ash Blossom, triple Duelist Alliance, triple Desires, triple Allure of Darkness, one Pendulum Call, one Foolish Burial, one Dragon Shrine, one Star Pendulum Graph, and double Time Pendulum Graph. For the extra, double Electromite, one Decode, one Warlord, one Supreme Starving Venom, one Vortex, one Supreme Clearwing, one Ignister, one Omega, one Supreme Rebellion, one Abyss Dweller, one Tornado Dragon, one Baguska, one Time Star, and one Odd Eyes Absolute to get your Vortex out. Then for the side deck, triple Cyclone, triple Wavering Eyes, one Raigeki, double Radiant, triple Evenly Matched, and triple Dimensional Barrier. So we'll start off by taking Alfie's comments on the matchups. So round 1 he beat True Draco 2-0. Game 1 he made Omega and Banished Disciples, so he knew he was playing True Draco, so just sat on a Dweller and Vortex and Electromite to win that one. And Game 2 he opened evenly matched versus a Demise turn, so that was pretty solid. Round 2, he went 0-1 against Lightsworn. His opponent opened 2 Omega. It's a pretty long game, which he nearly clawed back, but unfortunately he lost to Utopia Lightning in time. Round 3 versus Trickstar, he went 2-1, sorry. Game 1, Electromite got Veiled, so he made Baguska Trap Pass, and that was an easy win. Game 2, he lost to his opponent having pretty much all of the outs possible. And Game 3, he went Tornado Pass, and then got into a grind state, and won by just having more resources, basically. Round 4 versus BA, Game 1, he made Dweller and Vortex. He got evenly, but Vortex saved him there, and Dweller just switched off all of the BA monsters. And then Game 2, Dweller and Beaters basically won that. For round 5 versus Lightsworn, he went 2-0. Both players bricked in Game 1. Lightsworn player basically made Sayuja and pass, so he just managed to grind through that one. He had a Time Star powered up by Sayuja in the end, so Alfie was able to beat over the opposing monsters, and Ash Lone Fire, which was always good. Game 2, his opponent opened Minerva and Pass, basically a hand of all monsters, so he just OTK'd through that. Round 6 versus True Draco, 2-0'd him. Game 1 he made Baguska, Astro Trap, Electromite. Masterpiece and Demise was not enough to get through that. Game 2 his opponent forgets to flip Anti-Spell in the standby, so Foolish makes it through, and then with Normal Summons and Darkworm he basically makes Rebellion to beat down his opponent, and every turn is just assembling more and more monsters to slowly beat through his opponent's life points. Round 7 he went up against a Herald of Perfection deck, so Game 1 he wins the die roll. Baguska, Electromite, and Trap, that's basically everything that needs to be said for that. Game 2, he sided the Kaiju in. He Kaiju'd the Herald, then made a Borload and Rebellion. Borload took his opponent's Ouroboros, and that discarded another Herald from his opponent. So that's pretty much it for the rounds. As for Alfie's comments on the deck, obviously he didn't play any Chronograph. He decided that it wasn't good enough as a card and he needed more room to play Ash Blossom. Allure was in here to help consistency, which, because you have so many darks available, this just allows you to switch out the ones that you don't want for the ones that you do. He then went to, he chose Radiant as his Kaiju choice because it's a level 7 dark, so you can make Absolute Dragon with it, because it's so easy to Pendulum Summon. However, every time he went second, he sided out Allure, so maybe it's not that relevant that it was a dark. Perhaps it could have been Kumungus then, which is also a 7, slightly lower attack, so if you do have to give it to your opponent, it's a little bit easier to beat over, but I suppose it doesn't make Supreme quite as big. But whenever he did go second, the Allures would come out for Cyclone, because he knew that Anti-Spell was played by so very many decks, and he just wanted to be able to draw into the option immediately. He says that he did miss having the third Black Fang, which would have opened up a few additional plays, He never cited his dimensional barrier. Apparently there was never a situation when he wanted to take first and stun his opponent out of the game, because when he went up against BA, he ended up going second in each of the games. Anyway, but he would keep it just for things like BA Heralds or anything similar where it just basically switches out off the deck for a turn. Cyclone, he says, was absolutely fantastic and phenomenal throughout the event. Raigeki was a bit mediocre. Wavering is obviously for the mirror match, and then Evenly just did its job. As far as the new format is concerned, he expects that there will be a lot more grave-based decks, so Dweller becomes significantly more important in this meta, if you can make it. And he enjoyed playing this deck because it has the ability to summon in so very many different ways, and also he's extremely familiar with the deck, having played it for so long. But obviously he would change it a little bit to include the third Black Fang, and maybe a Trapeze Magician in the extra deck. So what are your comments on this deck? What do you think could be updated? Are there any significant changes that you think would need to be made if you were to run it? Or is there anything major here that you think is significantly different from what we're going to see in the future? Is the triple Dark Worm with the Gate 0 and playing the Allures for consistency the new format that we'll see for the deck? Having all of these additional options for summons in the form of like Dragon Shrine and Foolish, as well as your typical summons with just the Pendulum mechanic in itself. Do you think that this sort of side deck is the sort of thing that we'll see in the future? I mean, I think Evenly is such a strong card that it's never really going to go away. If you're playing a Pendulum deck, obviously Wavering Eyes is relevant, and you need some sort of spell and trap removal. So maybe there are a couple of things in here that might change up. Perhaps the format will evolve into a state where Kaiju are not that significant. Maybe you'll have to start playing Ras Fear Mode or something like that, but it remains to be seen. So if you got any comments or suggestions that you want to make, leave those in the comment section down below. Check out the description if you want to take part in the Top Deck series. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.